Today the topic of discussion is chamber enlargement in the ECG. Okay. Now see, in the previous video we have learned about the rate, rhythm and axis of the ECG. Today what we are going to do is we are going to discuss about the chamber enlargement. We'll divide this topic in total 5 things. First we'll give introduction, how to decide about the chambers. Second, the physiology, how the chambers are reflected on the ECG. Third, ECG paper basics, how the ECG paper helps in recording the chambers. Next will be the criteria to decide whether the chamber is normal or enlarged, and at the end on PowerPoint we'll go on the clinics and viva. That time we'll demonstrate the real-time ECG with the examples of the right atrial enlargement, left atrial enlargement, LVH and RVH. We're going to discuss clinics and viva in the PPT. Fine. So let's start with the first introduction. Now if you see the ECG, most of the time we are familiar with this image. Okay, so first wave what is here reflected is the P wave. The complex next comes is QRS complex, then the T wave. Okay, why these waves are created and what is significance of this, we are going to understand this thing in the current video. Okay, so now if you see about the waves here, these are the P wave. Now if you see the P wave, now today topic discussion will be about the P wave and QRS wave. T wave and other waves like U wave, epsilon wave, delta wave, these waves we are going to discuss in the another class. Today the topic will be only about the P wave and QRS wave. Okay, now see, before we go in the P wave and QRS wave, let's remember some of the physiology or anatomy. We have learned something about the heart anatomy. It has 2 atria and 2 ventricles. Right atrium, left atrium, right ventricle and left ventricle. Okay, so this chambers of the ECG heart should come somewhere on the ECG. That's what today's discussion is. Okay, so first let's understand why these waves are created. So let's focus on the P wave right now. Okay, now P wave, if you see, the P wave starts from here and it's ending here. This is your total P wave here. Okay, now P wave will demonstrate, or P wave will represent the depolarization taking place in the atria. So atrial depolarization is demonstrated by the P wave on the ECG. Okay, so now if we see the atria as per the physiology, we have right atrium and the left atrium, correct? And in right atrium superiorly we have SA node and inferiorly somewhere AV node. Okay, so the impulse is going to start from the SA node here and then AV node and then bundle of His. Okay, so this is the event we are going to record, or we are going to have atrial depolarization. Okay, so it starts from the RA, then the LA part comes. Okay, now let me focus again on the P wave. It starts from the RA, so the initial 1/3 of the P wave. Okay, so initial 1/3 of the P wave is the presentation of RA, right atrium. Okay, now the event ends with the LA. Okay, so the last 1/3 of the P wave is representative of the left atrium, and middle 1/3 what we are seeing here is the combination of the RA and LA both. Okay, so on your P wave, if you see here, the initial event is RA, then RA and LA combination, and then the LA itself, and the P wave ends. Okay, so the RA first, LA last, and in between you have RA plus LA. Okay, so these are the atrial representation of the ECG by the P wave. Fine, so atrial depolarization is recorded by the P wave. Okay, now right now we'll keep this thing in mind, and after that we'll understand the criteria how to tell RA is enlarged or LA is enlarged. So we have discussed about the atrial depolarization and the P wave. Now we are going to discuss about the QRS. Fine, so QRS is representation of the depolarization of the ventricle. Okay, now we know in the heart there are 2 ventricles, right ventricle and left ventricle. Now where these ventricles are located on the ECG, that we can decide about the something called chest leads. When we understood the axis in the previous video, we have seen that axis are decided by the limb leads, while your chambers or the LV and RV are dominantly represented by the V1 to V6, which are called chest leads. Okay, so now if we see this here, the diagram, this is the V1, which is right parasternal lead. Okay, so right parasternal, in the 4th intercostal space you put the V1. Parallel to that, in the left intercostal space you are going to put V2, and V6 will be there in the left mid axillary line. Between V2 to V6 we'll arrange V3, V4, V5 and V6. Now one rule we have remembered, the axis or the lead will record the voltage when current flows towards that. Fine. So any lead will record the positive deflection when current will flow towards that. Now if you remember the anatomy, this is your right ventricle somewhere here. Fine. Right atria, then the right ventricle, and the left ventricle and the anterior wall is somewhere here. So if you see this part of the RV, which is seen or which is clear cut with the V1. So in your ECG, V1 and to the certain extent V2, these are the chest slits which are looking at the right ventricle. So if I want to find something problematic on the RV, I should look for the V1 and V2. Same way, if we see the V3, V4, V5, V6, these are the two distant leads looking at the LV. Okay, so these are the far most lead which can look at the LV here. So if I want to find some abnormality of the LV, I should look at the V5 and V6. Okay, now what we know is V1, V2 will represent to the certain extent right ventricle, while V5, V6 will represent to the certain extent left ventricle. Now we know the leads where to look for. Now we should understand what wave to look for, that is your QRS wave. Fine. So we are done up to this. Now we are going to understand the QRS wave in the detail. Okay, so QRS wave, if you see, after the P wave is generated, there is a PR interval that we'll understand in the next class. But after the PR interval, there is a negative deflection, that is Q wave. After that, positive deflection, that is R wave, and then negative deflection one more, that is S wave, and the QRS complex ends. Fine. So after that you will get the T wave in the ECG. So this was your P. Now what we are going to discuss is QRS. This is your Q, then the R, and then the S. Okay. Now when we have understood about the P wave, we remembered something. The conduction started from the SA node in the right atrium, then it went to the AV node, again that is located in the right atrium. This is superiorly, this is inferiorly. So the right atrium and left atrium ultimately converts the current or the flow to the AV node. After that we know the structure comes is the bundle of His. After bundle of His, there is a left bundle branch, right bundle branch. Left bundle branch has two fascicle, posterior fascicle and anterior fascicle. Now this posterior fascicle, anterior fascicle and right bundle branch will give fibers to the Purkinje fibers, and that will lead to the depolarization of the LV as well as the RV. Okay, but in this event the first thing to get depolarized is the interventricular septum. Okay, now this interventricular septum, if you see, the direction of depolarization is from left to right. Okay, so left to right is the direction of the depolarization. Now what we remember, a lead will record a positive impulse if the current is towards that. Okay, and a negative impulse if current is opposite to that. Fine. So what we are telling is it's going from the left towards the right. Okay, so it's opposite to the left. If I see the left leads, that is V5 and V6, I should get the negative deflection clearly. That's your Q wave. Fine. So Q wave you will get clearly like this as a negative deflection in lead V5, V6. It will be present in V3, V4 also, but in V1 and V2 you won't find this wave clearly because current is flowing towards that. You can't have negative deflection in a lead if current is towards that. Fine. So that is about the Q wave. What we remember, Q wave is representation of the interventricular septal depolarization. Okay, after that we have understood in the physiology there are two chambers, LV and RV. LV dominates over the RV in the ventricular mass, correct? So the next step is the after interventricular septum depolarization, it's a ventricle muscle depolarization. That depolarization will be dominated by the LV. So current will be flowing towards more from right to the left. Okay, so current is flowing which side? Left side. So if you see the left sided lead, V5, V6 should have more positive deflection, and if you see the right sided lead, V1, V2 should have more negative deflection. Fine. So this is the one thing right now we understood in the whiteboard. When we'll discuss on the PowerPoint presentation, we'll understand on the real time ECG how this is going to help us decide the next enlargements.